Iran's missile program is once again the focus of global attention. Since the end of the 12-day war, Tehran has accelerated development of faster, more accurate, and longer-range missiles. But why is Iran investing so heavily in missile power? Is this an arms race or a shield against future conflict? In this in-depth Defense Decrypted report, we go beyond the headlines to explain how Iran's missile program evolved, what technologies are driving its growth, and why Israel and its allies are increasingly concerned. Iran argues that its missiles are defensive, a way to deter future attacks rather than provoke them. History provides context. During the Iran-Iraq War of the 1980s, Iranian cities came under devastating airstrikes while Tehran lacked modern air power and external support. From that experience, Iran learned one lesson: never be militarily vulnerable again. Today, Iran fields one of the Middle East's largest and most diverse missile arsenals. These weapons are domestically built, highly mobile, and constantly improving. They serve as both a military tool and a political message. Any attack on Iran will come at an acceptable cost. In this report, we'll explore how Iran's missile arsenal developed and diversified, the regional security dynamics fueling its expansion, Israel's defensive response and strategic calculations, and why Tehran insists these missiles are designed for deterrence, not aggression. This is the untold story behind Iran's missile surge after the 12-day war, a story of technology, strategy, and survival in one of the world's most volatile regions. The 12-day war left deep strategic lessons for Iran. Although Tehran itself wasn't directly bombarded, it saw how quickly regional conflicts can escalate and threaten its allies. Iranian planners watched Israel's advanced missile defenses intercept rockets from surrounding territories, but they also noted that no defense system is flawless. For Tehran, the war confirmed that only strong deterrence can prevent direct attacks on Iranian soil. If its allies could face such intense pressure, Iran itself could one day be the main target. The war also exposed how rapidly regional coalitions can form. U.S. intelligence, European diplomacy, and Israeli air defenses worked in tight coordination. From Tehran's perspective, this proved that Iran cannot rely on outside powers for protection. By rapidly improving its missile program, Iran aims to raise the cost of any future confrontation. Faster launches, heavier warheads, and greater accuracy make retaliation credible, ensuring that any strike on Iran would trigger a powerful response. This mindset is not about starting wars, it's about making them dangerous for Iran's enemies to consider. Iran's modern missile program began in the 1980s during the Iran-Iraq War. With its air force crippled by sanctions, Tehran had no choice but to turn to missiles. Early designs were based on imported Scud technology from North Korea and Libya, but Iran quickly learned to modify and produce them domestically. The memory of Iraqi missiles striking Tehran without warning shaped Iran's defense doctrine for decades. Iranian leaders concluded that reliance on foreign suppliers was risky and that self-sufficiency was critical. Over the years, Iran invested heavily in research centers like the Aerospace Industries Organization and worked closely with the Revolutionary Guard's missile units to create an indigenous program. Step by step, Iran evolved from assembling imported parts to designing entire missile systems, including engines, guidance packages, and warheads. Today, Iran no longer needs foreign components. Its missile industry is fully domestic, resilient against sanctions, and capable of rapid innovation. This foundation laid in the 1980s explains why Tehran can now respond quickly to modern threats, such as those witnessed after the 12-day war. Iran possesses one of the largest and most diverse missile arsenals in the Middle East. Short-range ballistic missiles like the Fatah 110 and Zolfagara rogue mobile and solid fuel, making them quick to deploy. Medium-range missiles such as the Shahab-3 and Ghada can reach over 1,500 kilometers, while the Khorramshahr missile can carry heavy or multiple warheads up to 1,000 kilometers away. In addition to ballistic missiles, Iran has developed advanced cruise missiles and drones. These low-flying systems can evade radar and strike targets with high precision. The combination of ballistic and cruise capabilities gives Tehran flexibility in responding to different threats. After the 12-day war, Iranian engineers accelerated testing programs. They focused on improving accuracy, survivability, and payload delivery, ensuring that every missile launch sent a clear deterrent signal to potential aggressors. The backbone of Iran's missile power is technology, and much of it is now indigenous. Advanced solid-fuel engines allow missiles to be launched on short notice. New guidance systems, developed by Iranian scientists, reduce circular error probability to just a few meters. Underground missile bases, often called missile cities, protect Iran's arsenal from airstrikes. Mobile launchers make detection difficult, while decoys and camouflage add another layer of defense. The integration of drones into missile strategy is a game changer. Drones can scout targets, assess damage, or even strike independently, overwhelming enemy air defenses when combined with ballistic salvos. These innovations make Iran's missile program more survivable and more credible as a deterrent. Israel has one of the world's most advanced air defense networks, including Iron Dome, David's Sling, and the Arrow system. These interceptors can stop many incoming threats, but they're not foolproof. A coordinated barrage of missiles and drones could overwhelm even the best defenses. For Israel, Iran's missile surge is more than a technical challenge. It's a strategic shift. Tehran's growing capabilities mean any attack on Iran would come at a steep cost, forcing Israel to reconsider offensive options. This is why every Iranian missile test, even if purely defensive, is closely monitored in Tel Aviv. It's not just about the weapon. It's about the message. Iran is building a shield so strong, it can't be ignored. Iran's missile program is guided by a principle known as forward defense. Instead of waiting to be attacked inside its own borders, Tehran projects power outward, supporting allies and developing capabilities that keep threats far from home. This doctrine relies on creating multiple layers of deterrence. Iran's missiles are not only aimed at defending Tehran or Isfahan. They're positioned to discourage any hostile force from even considering strikes against Iranian territory or interests. After the 12-day war, Iran reinforced this doctrine by demonstrating that it could quickly mobilize missile units, coordinate with regional parties, and hold distant targets at risk. The message was clear. Aggression will have consequences beyond the battlefield, rippling across the entire region. This is why Iran invests not only in missile range and accuracy, but also in survivability. The ability to fire from deep inside its own borders while reaching distant adversaries is what makes the program a true deterrent rather than a mere show of force. Sanctions were intended to cripple Iran's weapons development, but they had the opposite effect. Unable to import components, Iran built its own missile industry from scratch. Factories under the Ministry of Defense and the Revolutionary Guard began producing everything from propellants to precision guidance chips. Over decades, Iran created an entire domestic supply chain immune to foreign pressure. This self-reliance has allowed Tehran to accelerate production even during periods of intense international isolation. Every new missile unveiled, whether a short-range tactical weapon or a medium-range ballistic platform, is proof that Iran's engineers can innovate without outside help. The sanctions paradox is simple. Instead of limiting Iran's missile power, they forced Iran to master every step of the process, making its arsenal more robust and sustainable than ever. Iran's deterrence strategy is no longer just about missiles. Drones now play an equally critical role. These unmanned systems can fly low, evade radar, and strike with precision, and when used together with ballistic missiles, they can overwhelm even the best defenses. During recent regional conflicts, Iranian-made drones showed how effective this combination can be. A coordinated swarm can distract their defenses, clearing the way for ballistic missiles to reach their targets. This hybrid approach means Tehran doesn't need to rely solely on large, high-profile missile launches. Instead, it can mix fast, inexpensive drones with high-power ballistic systems to create layered threats that are difficult to intercept. The result, Iran's deterrence becomes less predictable and far more resilient. Any adversary must prepare to defend against multiple attack profiles at once, a costly and exhausting challenge. The United States and its Gulf allies view Iran's missile surge as a growing regional threat. Washington has increased arms sales to partners like Saudi Arabia and the UAE, while deploying advanced radar and Patriot missile batteries throughout the region. Joint military exercises have focused on intercepting ballistic and cruise missiles, reflecting concern that Iran's hybrid strategy could outpace existing defenses. American naval forces in the Persian Gulf are also on heightened alert for missile or drone launches. Yet these defensive measures come at enormous cost, billions of dollars per year to maintain constant readiness. This cost imbalance is part of Iran's strategy. By developing inexpensive but effective missiles, Tehran forces adversaries to spend far more on countermeasures than Iran spends on offense. In short, the U.S. and its allies can try to contain Iran's missile power, but they cannot easily roll it back. The trajectory of Iran's missile program is clear: faster development, greater accuracy, and deeper integration with other weapons systems. Hypersonic missile research is underway, promising speeds that could bypass most current air defenses. Iran is also working on improving maneuverability, making its missiles harder to track and intercept. Combined with ever more capable drones, these advancements ensure Tehran's deterrence will only grow stronger in the coming decade. Whether the world views these weapons as a defensive shield or an offensive threat, one fact is undeniable: Iran has changed the strategic balance of power in the Middle East. No adversary can plan an attack without factoring in Tehran's missile arsenal. For Iran, this is not about conquest. It is about ensuring that what happened during the Iran-Iraq War, when cities were bombed without an answer, never happens again. Iran's missile program is not just about weapons, it's about survival. After the 12-Day War, Tehran doubled down on deterrence to ensure that no enemy can attack without paying a heavy price. These missiles serve as both a shield and a statement. Iran will defend itself, regardless of sanctions or isolation. Whether viewed as defensive strength or offensive threat, one fact is clear: Iran's missile power has permanently altered the security balance of the Middle East. For Israel and its allies, this means constant vigilance. For Iran, it means national sovereignty safeguarded by homegrown technology. This is the missile race that defines today's West Asia.